Good evening. I'm Patrick Shannon, the founder of Hillsborough Families Against Cell Towers. Thank you. Putting Eric's rather polite comments aside, I will tell you that the presentation I heard from staff in Crown Castle was nothing short of Orwellian. We are not against wireless. We are against monstrosities in front of our homes. That is our point. Keep cell towers away from our homes. The explanation of the process was revisionism. But today will be a day of reckoning. Today you will hear from the citizens who were so unfaithfully shut out of the process, as Eric politely described. These people right here are the only ones that stood between Hillsborough becoming a cell tower farm and preserving our local values. Despite the very sad fact that the town tried to keep them in the dark about the planned and highly precedential approval of 16 massive cell towers near homes in Hillsborough. From the time of Verizon's submission of its application on January 4th, 2017, almost a year ago now, to the time of the planned approval, November 16th, the town failed its citizens and provided no notice to the Wireless Committee, that is the watchdog and the oversight function of this process. No notice. Shut out for 11.5 months, despite their internal guidelines that call for not only review, but recommendations from the Watchdog Committee.
Unforgivable.
Secondly, no public hearing. None. Despite their internal guidelines that call for not one, but 2 public meetings before any decision by the city manager. No mention whatsoever of the planned approval on the town's website. And no notice to hundreds of directly impacted homeowners and neighbors until 1 week before its planned approval, after being on the drawing board for over 5 years. So the lesson is that we have to stand guard by our mailboxes, anticipating a 1-week time bomb lobbed in by the city. 1 week to short-circuit Verizon's scheme to deface our property with 55-foot monstrosities that they now call small, creating an area that could exceed the federal emissions limits, subjecting us to disturbing noise, and decimating our property values and our life savings in the process. That was the plan for November 16th. But for the revolt of the citizens of Hillsborough, who spontaneously revolted.
Mr. Shannon, we're at the 3-minute mark.
I cede my time to him.
Can I get your name so I can put your card?
None too.
I will, it's only up to 2 speakers and I will need 2 of your names so I can pull your cards.
Gisela Giuliano.
Installing massive cell towers near homes and
Can I have those
schools.
cards first and then we'll proceed? Can I have those names again, please?
Gisela Giuliano.
Michael Buckmaster. We got an hour.
Take a note, we can move on. It's Michael Buckmaster and Giselle Sigliano.
Yes.
Installing massive cell towers near homes and schools in Hillsborough is a stark and obvious violation of law. It would egregiously violate Hillsborough's own laws, our essential rural character, our local values, aesthetics, the public use of right-of-ways under state law, and the least intrusive means under federal law. For starters, you don't have to look very far. Just look at our own municipal ordinance. All of the 16 huge cell towers are anathema to Hillsborough overall. Subsection 10 requires any wireless project to preserve the essential rural character of the town. Do we really need to tell you that 50-foot size industrial towers are fundamentally incompatible with rural living? All 16 towers violate the location standards. Subsection 70 states that the highest preference for locating towers is on public property, and the lowest priority of the 4 is in the rights of way. But all of the 16 towers are proposed for the rights of way. The project is exactly the reverse of what the law requires. It's upside down. All 16 towers violate the compliance standards. Subsection 120 requires compliance with Hillsborough's undergrounding rules. Our existing policy requires new development to be underground. Yet we have 55-foot towers, we have equipment 17 feet in the air, and we have ground equipment. All 16 towers violate the design standards in the following ways. 6 towers violate the height limits. Subsection 70G prohibits approval of towers taller than 35 feet or more than 10 feet taller than existing poles. 5 proposed towers violate the code as they be 55 feet and 16 feet taller. And 1 proposed new tower is 45 feet. Almost all towers violate the camouflage rule. Subsection 70G requires towers to be camouflaged and blended in to mimic the natural surroundings around them. In most cases, these are standalone towers that are totally unobstructed.
Mr. Shannon, we're now at the 6-minute mark, so I do have to ask you to stop.
One more.
It's a total of 2 speakers, so 6 minutes max. But I would encourage you to submit the written correspondence, I think, that you're reading from into the record for us.
So let me get this straight. You want to shut us out of the public process for 5.5 years and give us 3 minutes and maybe 6 minutes to respond? 5 years you can shut out. Now we get 5 minutes? Is that fair? No. Will we stand for that? No public hearing, no information to the watchdog group, and no opportunity to respond.
Freezing your time, I give my time.
We all give our time to them, yes.
So I think from here on out, the ground rule is 2 total speakers with the speaker that's speaking, a maximum of 9 minutes. That's all we can do.
Who
Okay?
make the rules?
Why do you speak so
Our project is inconsistent with the setback rules that prohibit the placement of any structure within over 8 feet, within 40 feet of a residence, without the homeowner's approval. A number of proposed towers are within 40 feet, including 1455 Marlborough and 2795 Churchill. And the situation will only get worse over time. While the towers are 55 feet now, federal law allows a unilateral extension by at least 10 feet. So we're talking 65-foot towers with a 32-foot height limit on the homes over which they loom, twice the size. To the council and the city manager, all you have to do to avoid this calamity is enforce your own laws. Approve massive cell towers near homes would throw Hillsborough's municipal code into the Cuisinart. It would shred all of our local protections. And you would set a precedent for all of the other 26 national carriers to roll in here and for each of them to install 16 towers of their own. Enforce your ordinance, or you will be abdicating your sworn constitutional duty to the citizens of Hillsborough. And you'll be called to account because we are not going away.
Here, here.
Enforce your ordinance, deny the project, do the right thing, protect your citizens. Avoid Hillsborough from becoming the place where democracy goes to die and cell towers metastasize. In closing, on behalf of the 1,000 citizens who have signed a petition urging you to deny this project, I give you a copy of our petition asking you, urging you, in fact demanding that you deny this project and start over and reform our process so the citizens are given an opportunity for meaningful contribution to the public debate. Thank you very much.